Hello, everyone. Let's watch this clip together and then we'll be back.
The entire purpose of Islam, according to all Islamic doctrine, is to ensure that there is an Islamic state throughout the entire world called a caliphate, and under that, Sharia or Islamic law is the law of the land. That's it. Islam is no more complicated than that. Islam breaks the entire world into two parts. The Dar al-Islam, where Sharia is the law of the land, and the Dar al-Harb, the house or abode of war, where there is not Sharia as the law of the land. The function of Islam is to eliminate the Dar al-Harb until the entire world is a Dar al-Islam. And the vehicle to do that is called what? Jihad, which in 100% of all published Islamic law is only defined as warfare against non-Muslims. So let's just put that on the line. And so we're here talking national security issues. We have people here that are running for the office of President of the United States, and we have to begin there. And what I would put forth is that since, and actually prior to, but since 9/11, our entire national security apparatus has been unprofessional in its approach to this war, from the four-star generals to the office of the president, to the national security staff, to the leaders of DHS when it was created, the FBI, the CIA, and other agencies. Because we have said this has nothing to do with Islam, despite the fact that our warfighting doctrine says when you analyze an enemy, you start with who he says he is and why he's fighting. And 100% of this enemy that we're facing, from the jihadi in Chattanooga to the 9/11 hijackers and everybody before and in between, have all said we're Muslims waging jihad in the cause of Allah in order to impose Islamic law and establish caliphate, period. So that's what it is. And if we look in Islamic law, authoritative Islamic law, the kind you get at mosque bookstores, not at Barnes and Noble, you will see that 100% of them say that jihad is warfare against non-Muslims. And it's total warfare. It's not just guns and bombs. It's psychological warfare. It is political warfare. It's subversion. It is the whole 9 yards. It's total warfare, something that our DOD has not been practicing. I would say you'd have to go back towards Reagan administration and maybe even beyond that. Complete and total war against non-Muslims.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jedediah. Today I'm co-hosting this show with my sisters Divine and Afnan. We also have a very special guest with us today. We have Miss Elaine Ellinger, we have Brother Gabriel, and Brother Noah. Before we begin, I would love to introduce our special guest, Miss Ellinger, who has joined us today to share her wisdom and experience. Miss Ellinger's interest in Islam began in 1983, owing to a chance encounter with a Baha'i refugee who fled Iran during the revolution. At that time, Miss Ellinger was working as a child protection social worker in Canada. Since then, she has spent many years researching, writing, and speaking about growing influence of Sharia in non-Islamic countries from the perspectives of the non-Muslim, formerly Canadian director and senior researcher for a European think tank focused on Islamic doctrine. She founded the Perspectives on Islam Society in 2023 for the express purpose of providing public education on the primary teaching of Islam in the context of current event. Also, she is author of the Civilizational Reckoning, Understanding the Threat, Reclaiming the Future. I'm sure you can find the book on Amazon. Uh, Welcome, Miss Allinger. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very glad that you invited me and that I get to share this afternoon with you. So
Thank you.
thank you again.
Thank you so much. Today, we are addressing a difficult but important truth. There is an extremist ideology rooted in political interpretation of Islam, often called Islamism, that threatens the safety and values of the United States and the West. I want to be clear. Our focus is not on moderate Muslims who live peacefully and reject extremism. They are our neighbors, co workers, and fellow Americans. But there is a political radicalized doctrine used by groups and movements around the world that justifies violence, demands supremacy, and seeks into influence societies, including here in the US. Today, we are exposing how this ideology spreads, how it targets young people, how it operates inside the United States, and how communities can recognize and stop it. We speak the truth boldly, but we do not target individuals unfairly. Our mission is to protect innocent people, Muslim and non Muslim, for extremist movements that hide behind religion. And let's not forget that the first victims of Islamic terrorism have always been Muslims themselves from the earliest days of Islam until today. So, my first question to Miss Elaine, is there really any difference between Islam as a faith and political Islam?
I never use the term political Islam. And in fact, I was just informed this morning that Austria has dropped that qualifier as well. The We began by listening to John Guandolo, and he very, very correctly said that the doctrine from beginning to end is against the non-Muslim. That does not mean in any way that I speak about individuals. I never do. I speak about the doctrine itself, because if you think for 2 minutes about the situation for the women in Afghanistan, you understand that Muslims suffer under this as well. But this is a matter of self-preservation, because if the West falls to Islam, there will be no place left on the planet that is safe for people to run to. And right now that includes Copts and Baha'i and some Muslims and many others. Now, not all Muslims come here for that reason, because there is a mandate in Islam, not only Dar al-Harb, all right, that jihad is essential, but there is a mandate for jihad. And in fact, one of the hadith, and the hadith are all the stories, the traditions about Muhammad, but they are also part of jurisprudence. Islamic jurisprudence is not just the Quran, it is also the hadith. And one of the hadith very clearly says, I command you with 5, and that is the prayer and the Hajj, but also jihad and hijrah. So we don't often hear that. We hear the 5 pillars don't include jihad, but in fact, Muhammad said, shall I tell you the pillar and the peak? And that is jihad. Because without jihad, Islam would never have expanded beyond the Arabian Peninsula to start with. And what a lot of people don't realize is that even innocent Muslims who do not want to participate in this pay their zakat. The zakat is considered by people to have it to be a charity, but in fact, it has 8 categories. And if you look up Islamic jurisprudence, which we are fortunate to be able to find in English, because in European countries, they don't have that resource. If you look it up, you see very clearly that the money is to be divided between the 8 categories, one of which is to sweeten the hearts. So that is to provide influence, as Muhammad demanded that people do. He said, continue to give gifts to the foreign delegates, as you have seen me doing. And if only 10 Jews had followed me, they would all have followed me. So this is very much about influence, but it is also about paying for jihad. The 7th category, which is jihad. It is called the cause of Allah, fi sabilillah. And many of the activist groups that we have here in North America now are authorized to collect that zakat under that category for the purpose of stealth jihad, which is in our schools, in our workplace, in our marketplace, in finance. It is everywhere now. It has completely infiltrated the West, and they are blind to it. So I've said quite a lot. It's somebody else's turn.
Oh, that's great. We also have people from Nigeria here really struggling these days, as we all know. And we want them to tell us what's the Islam actually doing, or the Islamists doing, and now in Nigeria, and how that affecting them. So you have with me, Sister Afnan. She will start with her first question. Go ahead, Afnan.
Yes. So the question that I have is, how has Islamic radicalism affected Christians communities in Nigeria? Nigeria. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Hello? Did you
Gabriel. Go
guys?
ahead.
Yeah.
You have to say the name of the person to answer.
Yeah. Brother
Okay, thank you.
Gabriel. Yeah.
Okay, God bless you. Yeah, the 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 Islamist radicalism has affected a lot concerning Nigeria, and in respect, like, okay, security. Now, here in Nigeria, nowhere is safe. That is what I just want everybody to be aware. Nowhere is safe. And then, you are in a situations whereby your your child have an admission in another state, especially in another state, and then you have the problem of security. And then, Nigeria is a state in which you don't understand. We in Nigeria, we don't understand how Nigeria is being governed. And I'm going to give an example. How am I going to be a citizen of Nigeria and I don't understand how this country is being governed? Is that this country, Nigeria of 18, have two laws. We have two laws. Here in the south, we are making use of the criminal code, and the northern part is making use of the penal code, and which is an offense that is a crime in the south is not an offense that is it is not it is not a crime in the northern part. Okay, and this give the terrorists of the things the opportunity to triumph, to make impact. Yes, in the northern part, they have what we call the Sharia law of the thing. And as we all know, the Sharia law is a law that govern the Muslims, that govern the entire instance of the thing. And they keep saying that this Sharia law is only attributed to the Muslims alone, whereas we find out that it's a false. Because, for example, a Muslims that converted to Christians have to pass through a persecutions and have to be, to be tried under a Sharia law. For example, I have a brother right now. His name is Mukaila Aliyu Tulu. Mukaila Aliyu Tulu from Zaria, Kaduna State. He converted to to Christianity not up to a year right now. And the moment he converted, he have to left Kaduna to another state. Now, a 2 million bounty was placed on him that anyone that successfully unalive him, we have access to that 2 million. But as we all have it, 3 weeks ago, on his way to Jos for evangelism, his family apprehended him. He was arrested and have to take him back to his homeland. As I am talking right now, he is nowhere to be found. Though the brothers believe that he has been locked up in a room, but we are praying for his total release. So that is the situation right now in Nigeria. The issues of this radicalism Islam is affecting and is stopping the progress of the country itself, and including we the Christians.
Amen. I mean, we as Copts in Egypt, actually, we understand perfectly what you're talking about. We have to hide any convert. He once he declared that he left Islam and became Christian, This is it. This is, and his family can kill him, all this stuff, not just the government. And the government, of course, would not give him ID or anything. He cannot live, he cannot get married, he cannot inherit, he cannot educate. All his education is gone, everything is gone. He cannot live. So my
And
next
that's
question.
actually, mhm.
Mhm. Go ahead.
That's actually one of the features like of Islamic fascism. Some Muslims say no, the fascism has nothing to do with the real Islam, but the real Islam, like the old one, like the one belonged to Muhammad, it's completely 100% fascism. That's what we say that Muhammad, when we go, for example, to Sahih Ibn Majah and Sahih Bukhari, we see that Hadith Muhammad, he said, whoever changed his religion, kill him. And that's hadith number 2070 and 3017 of Bukhari.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
If I could just say, thank you very much for putting that in, sister, because I never use the terms extreme or radical, never, because it is the doctrine. The doctrine just creates more of them. If all we do is focus on the individuals who have been brainwashed into such hate all their lives, if all we do is focus on them and call them the problem, we will never address the problem, because the root that produces them is the doctrine that is 100% against all non-Muslims. We have just listened to John Guandolo. All right, I'm connected to him. He is 100% right that the goal is to Islamize the world, and there is only one way to do that, and it starts the same way Muhammad did. He went to Medina as a migrant, and he said he was a victim of Mecca. He never told them what he did in Mecca, that he cursed their ancestors. He said they were all going to hell. He demanded that they follow him. He cursed his own uncle, who is, if you read Quran 112, that's about his own uncle, that he should
Abu
be
Lahab.
cursed and burn in hell, and his aunt as well. What kind of a prophet, okay, what kind of a God is going to put in the biblical, in the scripture, that you curse your uncle? But that is what it is, because he would not follow him. So that is what he did to Mecca. Then he goes to Medina and says he is a victim. They are mean to him. Well, what happens in Medina in 5 years? Every Jew has been exiled or killed as he gained strength, as he adopted jihad. A whole chapter of the Quran is called the spoils of war. This is the Quran and the Hadith that generate this. And unless we address the root, which is the doctrine that produces them, we will never stop anything. It's like the heads on the Hydra. You kill a jihadi, you eliminate, something, then the doctrine produces it again, over and
Exactly.
over.
Exactly. That's actually bring me to my question. I just want to clarify something. He didn't just kill all the Jews, he killed all the dogs and kicked all the Christians. So
Exactly.
in the Medina, it was like even he went after the dogs. Like,
Yes,
like
yes,
what else?
yes.
So that brought me to my question. That as Western, like, since I came here to the U.S. and I'm so like in awe how the West cannot actually pick up on a person who actually a real Muslim. Like what you said, you refuse to say jihadi or extremist, or because that's the doctrine itself. That is a real Muslim. We have a moderate Muslim who are not real Muslims, and we have a real Muslim, which we call extremist, Islamist, whatever you want to call it. So I want to know how can the people of the West can recognize and point out, no, you are not a moderate, no matter what you say. I can tell from what you
Yeah.
believe, you are a real Muslim. Go ahead.
What the difference is, what they practice, and to be fair, please, is what they teach in school here. Now, I can give you an example. This is a book for an Islamic school, high school. All right, you see this book. All right, you will find this in Western high schools, Islamic high schools, and what it teaches them is the last 30 surah from the Quran. Now, as you know, and your audience probably knows, the Quran is not in chronological order. Surah 9 is much more important, because that was the end, 9-5. That's it. That abrogates everything. But what are they taught? They're taught this. And of these 30 verses, only 2 of them are from Medina. One of them says, oh, they are the worst of creatures. But that doesn't say to kill them. So they are taught that Islam is a wonderful thing. They are always taught that. But at the same time, from the time they are small, they are taught that we hate them, that we wish to, that they be, killed, that we want to harm them, that we lie to them. This is what they are told all of their lives. And so it is no surprise that some are confused. All right. So what you call a moderate Muslim here is actually someone who simply isn't practicing all of Islam, and they may not even realize it's necessary, may not even believe it. I've had Muslims connect with me on LinkedIn and say, no, it's not true. He didn't marry Aisha when she was 6. He didn't have, 13 wives. He had only 4. They believe all of this because that's what they're told, and they're not living in an Islamic country. And for example, if anyone says to them, well, look at what's happening in Afghanistan, they'll tell you it's a bad government. Or Iran, they'll say it's a bad government. But if it's happening here, it's religion. But it's over there, it's government. So they're taught to believe that it's only government, and it will be different for them. But it won't be different for them. This is like gays for Gaza and chickens for KFC, is that ultimately they will also be fodder if they do not fall in line. They are cannon fodder for the juggernaut that is Islam itself. I look at Islam, frankly, as being an entity, and it chews up Muslims as well, but it uses them, it corrupts them, and at the same time, it says that it is everyone else that is corrupt, and they are brainwashed to believe this.
May I come in there, please?
Sure,
Yes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, we have to understand is that those who fight the jihad, who attack the non-Muslims, are the real Muslim according to Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Yes.
Now, I will like to display one deed, Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, page 72. Let us read. Please, can you help me display the screen? I have the screen here with me. I want to put it on the screen. So, thank you. I want everyone to read this. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, the Book of Faith, page 72. Now, let us read what is written in Islamic text. Al-Jihad, only fighting in Allah's cause with full force of numbers and weaponry, is given the utmost importance in Islam and is one of its pillars on which it stands.
Yes.
By jihad, Islam is established. Allah's word is made superior. Is what la ilaha illallah, none has right to be worshipped but Allah, as religion Islam is propagated. By abandoning jihad, may Allah protect us from that. Can you listen to that? Now, Islam is destroyed and Muslims fall into an inferior position. Their honor is lost, the land are stolen, and their rules and authority vanished. Jihad is an obligatory duty in Islam on every Muslim, and he will try to escape from this duty or does not in his innermost act wish to fulfill the duty,
Yes.
dies with the one of the quality of hypocrite.
While you have that open, Al-Bukhari, can you go to 88? Let me see, it's book 56, number 88.
Okay, sorry, Bukhari, book 56, right?
Book 56, chapter 88. Can you find that?
Okay. Book 56.
It says, narrated Ibn Umar, that Muhammad said, I'll just read it. It said, Muhammad said, my livelihood is under the shade of my spear.
Yes.
And he who disobeys my orders will be humiliated by paying jizya. There is a footnote on that page
But
that
that's
says, the footnote
that's not Bukhari
says,
volume 4, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, could I just finish? So it's Muhammad says, my livelihood is under the shade of my spear. And the footnote says, under the shade of my spear means war booty. Muhammad thus declared that jihad was the means of his income, his livelihood. My livelihood is under the shade of my spear. He said that is how I make my money. What is
Exactly.
not to understand about this?
And not just that, he actually urged his followers to not go seek like plantation or growing crops. No, you have to do jihad in order to be good Muslims,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
have a plantation or have like any anything like any work, that's not acceptable in Islam. Your work as a Muslim is to go after jihad and unalive people and take the jizya, and that's how you make your money as a Muslim.
The yeah,
Yeah.
divine Jadadia. He
Mhm.
also said, "I have
Yes.
been commanded to fight to the people until they testify that there is no God but
But
Allah and
Allah,
that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah." So
yeah,
it's a command that he will keep fighting people to force them to believe in him and his God.
and they said the end of the war
Yes.
will be until Jesus, the son of Mary, come, or all the religion will be for Islam. So that's the two they will never stop until all religion be for Islam, or the Jesus, son of Mary, Isa would come and break the cross and kill the pig. That's the end. So
So,
there is nothing to stop them. Go ahead.
if I could just mention again about the zakat, and that there are 8 categories, and every Muslim, even the ones that are not practicing, they're living in the West, they go, oh, Islam is fine, it's not so bad, but they don't do their 5 prayers. They probably show up at the Friday sermon, but they might even ask for a hijab, but they're not asking to be stoned. So we're getting a very filtered view of Islam in the West, but they pay their zakat. They pay their zakat. And 1/8 of that is for jihad, and it will get there.
Yes,
And
and
that,
it
that
was.
is, there is no other belief system that finances military as a part of its faith. And the difference between Islam and every other belief system, not just Christianity, Hindus, Baha'i, the Buddhists, between every other belief, is that no other belief system mandates the difference between a Muslim and a non-Muslim in terms of law, that one is worth more, that a man is worth more, that you can kill an apostate, that you finance military as a requirement, that you must pay this. This is actually, if you look at it properly, and I say properly because people like to say, oh, it's uncivilized. It is not uncivilized. It is a different civilization. It is a much older one. It has been around for 14 years. It is highly organized. It has a very clear taxation structure, the 2.5%. And this is always spent the same way. So they have, if you look at your tax bill and you go, I'm paying so much for the fire department, I'm paying so much for the hospital, they look at their tax bill, they're paying so much for jihad, they're paying so much for charity. It's the same thing.
Yes. I have a follow-up question to my the previous question to you, Elaine, that can you, a moderate Muslim, and justify what happened in October 7th by any means? Can you be a moderate Muslim and justify it?
Well, there's no such thing as a moderate Muslim. I simply don't use those terms. Because I don't speak about people. I'm not going to criticize any person for what they said or they didn't say living in an Islamic country or a non-Islamic country. The ones that are here and don't do this, they're very poorly informed. the ones that are living in an Islamic country, if they are vulnerable, then they are likely victims under a burqa somewhere, or possibly, executed for opening their mouth and asking a question. So Islam itself is the issue. And I never talk about what individuals are doing unless they are someone who are pushing Sharia. For example, just recently, I copied this to bring it today. I thought this would be a very important thing to mention given the topic. And this is the founder of CARE. I need a light. This is the founder of CARE. And he said this recently. So CARE is the Council of American Islamic Relations.
Do you want the video? Do you want us to play the video? Because we have it.
Oh, well, no, I'll just say what he said.
Okay.
He's speaking at a California mosque, and the founder, Nihad Awad, said, quote, "We have 4,000 mosques in the country. If each mosque funds 5 students in journalism, filmmaking, political science, and law, by 2050, we have 100,000 of each, and we will run for office at all levels of government." So that is clearly the plan. Now, you can look at somebody across the table and have no idea they are involved in this. They don't wear a sign. So I don't try to judge whether a person is involved or they are not involved. The problem is Islam and its mandate, its goal to dominate the entire world. And that is what needs to be addressed. And we have to do that in many ways. And one of them is the finance, the zakat that keeps this ball rolling. So this has to stop.
Yeah, and he talked about the delicate. If Yvonne can play that video,
I think they're taking also like London as like a role model, like Sadiq Khan.
Yes.
Because
I have a
he was
question.
able to reach like where he is now through lies and through like taqiyya and stuff. And then they're trying to reach every office now, like on the state level and the federal level here in America. And this is their plan from the beginning. I was surprised to see like a lot of them are now holding offices. That was like a big surprise because they're working secretly and we're not paying attention to it. Like the American people and the West, they need to know that this is your enemy, you like it or not. It's like ordered by their Allah. I don't call it God. Their God.
And we can see something divine. We can see what's going in Nigeria is a big example of what they can do. Like we can tell, like Nigeria, there's like 84% Christian there. So we can see what they are doing and what they can do when their number became more. So I have a question. How to the brother Gabriel and the brother Ezekiel? How has the political Islamism shaped the conflict in your region? And you can talk about this politically and from an Islamic perspective.
Okay, let me.
All right, thank you.
First, then.
All right, thank you so much. Let me start from this post that you placed on the screen. It said, bandits impose 60 million levy on Zamfara communities. This is the vision and the mission of Islam. If you read Quran chapter 47, verse 4, we will find it clearly where Prophet Muhammad said he received a revelation from his Allah that when the Muslim met the unbelievers, they should slaughter them. Even the tafsir, Jalalain and the tafsir, Ibn Kathir make it clear that they should struck their neck because killing someone should be from slaughtering them. So when they smite their necks and make some bounds so they can release them freely or they pay ransom. So, and apart from that ransom, to ransom there are people that they are bound. So also, according to Tafsir or Jalalain, you can make treaty with them. So the treaty is that they are going to pay so amount so that you will not touch them, so that you will not kill them, or you will not fight them. So they will make this treaty to favor the Muslim, even if it does not favor the other people that they did it with. Now, there have been these Fulani jihadists attack a lot of churches and Christians in their house, Fam, I even have one evidence here. They went, the minister of God sent me the video how they went to their orphanage home and they attacked and slaughtered people. I would love to show this. If you can permit me, if you can share my screen, I would love to show this evidence so that everyone can see what is really going on in Nigeria. So this is the man of God.
Prophet.
Now, these are the houses. I don't know if you can help me. You can share my screen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Let me quickly do that. Let me begin to. Now, this is the house they are burned. Can you see the church? Can you see? So, can you see there are people how they slaughtered them? So, this happened in
concerning the genocide happening.
Let's listen.
This is Prophet Atom Rimam. Concerning the genocide happening, let me tell you this. The pictures you are seeing are clear evidence. I have video clips. In fact, the orphanage of my mother, where we keep over 500 orphans and Muslim converts, teaching them the word of God, was attacked and burned down completely by these Fulani jihadi terrorists. They came to our camp, they destroyed things, and they went to the village around the camp. They killed hundreds of people. I can show you evidence of mass burial. Pastors, ministers were killed. Some of us escaped that night. God, just the grace of God helped some of us to escape on gunshot, but they killed a lot of people, you know, in Iriguelan, in Miango, Jebu Miango, in Bassa, and Atom Rimam. Concerning the genocide happening, let me tell you this. The pictures.
The pictures that the man is talking about. Let me quickly show them. Let me quickly begin to show the picture that this man is talking about. Can you see them? So please, let's begin to see them one by one. Can you see how the unalive people burn down the orphanage home? This is the orphanage home that this man is talking about. Can you see how the unalive are little children? So this is what the Fulani jihadists have been doing to Christians for long. And of recent, they also went to Kwara State, the local government Kwara State, to attack Christians while they are doing programs in the church. While the live program is going on, I think they are doing Bible study at that time, and they went there, they attacked, they unalive 3 people, injured 1, and abduct people. And this evening, I saw a news where they said they request to give them 100 million before they can free them. So, and we are calling the support. We are asking for the support of all Christians over the world, from the United States, from your United Kingdom, to support, to come and save Nigeria Christians from this attack. It is enough. And also, so this is the church they attacked a few days ago in Kwara State. Let's all see. They were in the church doing program, and this Fulani jihadists come there and begin to launch bullets on them.
They were trying to take refuge on the altar and also in the vestry. But the altar have surrounded the church.
Yes.
So nowhere to escape.
You know,
Go ahead, Eileen.
yeah, I saw that yesterday on the television here, and that the mainstream ignores it. It's just such a crime. But I just wanted to read one little thing from Reliance the Traveler. It's a classic manual of Islamic law. I don't know if you have it. I'll just show it here. And what it is it's a compendium, okay? The law is, as it says in Quran 45:18, it is the ordained way of Islam. It is all of it. It is all Sharia. But for things that are well known, they put them into kind of a compendium. So you don't have to look all through the Quran and the Hadith to find it. You can just look in here under the subject. And if you look under jihad, what does it say? It says, if none of those concerned perform jihad, and it does not happen at all, then everyone who is aware that it is obligatory is guilty of sin if there was a possibility of having performed it. So when people try to say that there is some moderate Islam, there is no moderate Islam. It does not exist.
Exactly. And what
let me quickly say something for the Muslims who are trying to lie that they used to attack Muslims also. Let me quickly address this. Now, we have seen different historical books of Islam where Muslims attack themselves. For example, the day that Prophet Muhammad died, their prophet died, Abu Bakr and Umar went to the house of Ali, according to Tariq al-Tabari, to attack him that if he did not accept Abu Bakr as a caliphate, they are going to burn down the house. So not that alone, you can also see in their deeds when Prophet Muhammad and his followers went to fight people, and they claim that Satan said, can you see enemy from your back? And Muslims begin to attack themselves. Now I can also prove from the Quran, chapter 4, verse 88 to 89, where Allah gave them command to attack the hypocrites among the Muslims. And if you check the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, you will see clearly that the hypocrites they are talking about are the people who refuse to go out to fight with them. Quran chapter 9, verse 73, Allah says the Muslims should fight the unbelievers and the hypocrites. So if you now see a Muslim attacking themselves in one way or the other, maybe that person is qualified as an hypocrite. Not that alone, if you read Quran chapter 4, I think verse 90, when you check the tafsir of the Quran, you see clearly that when Prophet Muhammad sent his people on an expedition, they met a man on the way, and the man said, Assalamu alaikum to them. They said to themselves that, oh, this man only tell us Assalamu alaikum because he's fearing, so that we will not take words.
So they killed him.
So they unalived the man, they killed him and took away his property. And when they get to Muhammad, Muhammad didn't condemn that they killed an unbeliever. He only condemned that you should have made your research and make sure that truly this man is not a Muslim before you find him. So
and he didn't do justice to the man. Ezekiel,
this thing to escape is a lie.
Ezekiel, he didn't do justice to the man. It should be the one who killed the man. He should be killed according to Quran and nafs to nafs, or a soul for soul, whatever. He didn't do it. When it comes to his people, he broke the law of his own Quran. So you know, but I just
I want to add to it.
Okay.
Now, I want to add to it in the light of the of politics here in Nigeria. Yeah, actually, according to the Quran chapter 5, verse 51, Quran says, to add to what my brother has said, that all you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. So they are allies of one another, and whoever is an ally to them among you, indeed, that the person, the Muslim, is one of them. So according to the Quran, any Muslims that take any Christians or Jews as a friend is an infidel. So you need to treat that person as an infidel. Now, politically, here in Nigeria, there is a king here in Nigeria, one of the famous king. In fact, he's the leader of the Muslims in Nigeria. That is the Sultan of Sokoto. The Sultan of Sokoto. Now, the Sultan of Sokoto says that anyone that fight against Boko Haram fight against Allah. Imagine the overall rulers of all Muslims in Nigeria saying anyone that wage war against the Boko Haram is fighting against Allah. So what do you expect from the Muslim soldiers?
Yes.
That's where the problem is.
Now,
what?
I just wanted to say about that is that Quran 5:33 Ibn Kathir's tafsir says very clearly that to criticize or oppose Islam or Muhammad, this is disbelief. This is disbelief. This is to make war. Quran 533, if you look that up, the tafsir Ibn Kathir, it says to define war means to oppose or to criticize or disbelief. So just leaving Islam or not agreeing with something in the hadith, this is enough to be considered war against Islam. Just like Muhammad, he said, oh, the Meccans are so mean to me. No tolerance at all for other people's beliefs. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I just wanted to say how war is defined in Islam. Disbelief.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like a lot of
God
people,
bless you.
just a second. A lot of people
Right.
don't understand that Islam is the only religion that would attack you just because you disagreed with them and you disagree with their faith. People try to say, hey, the Old Testament this, the Old Testament. No, nothing in the Old Testament said kill people because they are unbelievers or because they are not Jew. There's nothing like this. This is because they attacked you, because they killed their own babies. But no religion on earth uh, push their followers to kill anyone who don't follow the religion but Islam. That's why this religion is dangerous. People don't understand in Islam there is something called the house of war and the house of peace. The house of war is any place on earth that they don't reign. And the house of peace, any place on earth that they reign, and they will still kill those who disagree with them from Muslims too. On the
I just wanted to say about Jewish people is that they have the 10 commandments in regards to living. Their rules about food are for them, not on anyone else. Like when they go in and they demand that, Kentucky Fried Chicken should be halal or that the school lunches should be halal. Judaism does not do that. The food rules are for Jews only. The 10 commandments are how to live life. And they have something called tzedakah, which people think is like zakat. It's charity. No, in Judaism, the tzedakah is 100% for charity. There is nothing for military. There is nothing for sweetening the hearts, for influencing people. There is none of that. It is just for charity. It's entirely different. And in Israel in 1948, when the Arab League attacked, then the Arab League said to the Muslims living there that they were going to do this and they should leave because they were going to go in and slaughter, and they were sure they were going to win and defeat all of the Jews. Some of the Muslims stayed there. Those are the ones who did not, their humanity rose to the top and they said, no, we are not going to leave. We are going to stay here. The ones who left are in Gaza now, and the people who should be paying for Gaza are the ones who told them to leave, the Arab League. But the problem is that in Israel now, because they were left with only the Muslims who didn't want to kill them, they believe that those people in Gaza are extreme, and that what is still in Israel is moderate, is average Islam. Even Jews do not understand that in other countries, Islam has not sorted itself like that. That's never happened anywhere else, that all the ones who wanted to follow the doctrine left. That's never happened anywhere except in Israel. So they have a very divided view about Islam because all the bad ones left, so they think that's extreme, but it's not. Those are the ones who wanted to follow the doctrine. So I just wanted to mention that.
Exactly.
Actually, Jadania,
Afnan wanted to say something.
I have a comment when he was showing us the churches in Nigeria, how they are attacking them, how they are like destroying houses and all these things. We can see some Muslims, they might come and say, no, that has nothing to do with Islam. This is the modern Muslims. But if they go to their books and look so deep, they will find that's what their prophet was doing. For example, when we can go, there is a hadith say, Muhammad, he said, two religions shall not coexist in the Arabian Peninsula. So, it's from the Muwatta Malik Hadith 1615. And we can see also another Hadith. It says also said, okay, I'm gonna go to another Hadith. It says, Hadith expel the polytheists from the Arabian Peninsula. It's sourced from Sunan Abi Dawud, Hadith 3029. And we can see those texts appear in Muwatta, Musnad Ahmad, etc. I'm not gonna mention all the sources. And also we can see another example. We can see in Al-Hasan al-Basari, he said, it's a part of the Sunnah that churches be demolished in both old and newly established cities, Muslim cities. And this also, they can find it in Musannaf Abd al-Razaq, and also Imam Abu Hanifa. He said churches, synagogues, and fire temples should not be allowed to remain in the land of Arabs and in Muslims. So we can see this is part of what their religion asking them to do and their leaders. And we can see even another example in Al-Mudawwana Al-Kubra of Imam Malik says, he said, Malik dislikes for Christians to build new churches in Muslim lands. And also, Al-Sharif said they might not build a new church or a place for their prayers in Muslim cities. And also Imam Ahmad, he said, Jews and Christians are not allowed to build synagogues or churches in any city established by Muslims, and they might not ring a bell in it. So we see that from where?
Exactly, and remember again that how they were praising Umar ibn just a second.
Yes?
They were praising Umar ibn al-Khattab for destroying 4,000 churches in the Middle East. That's in their books. That's in their history books. Go ahead.
Yeah, could I just make a suggestion? Because I keep hearing this term moderate Islam, and that makes people think, it implies that there is such a thing as moderate Islam and extreme. If you don't mind me suggesting another word, instead of saying that, is to say a nominal Muslim, which means they sort of practice nominal, or to say a cultural Muslim. But when we say moderate, it implies that there is also extreme, and that gives people the wrong impression, because there is only one Islam. There is no moderate Islam. There,
I can call them naive Muslims, like ignorant Muslims. They don't know Islam.
Naive Muslims. Oh, I like that.
Yes. You know what? What you said before also, there was like Robert Spencer. I don't know if you know this name.
Yes.
For Jihadi Watch. I think he's a famous guy. He had like a lecture, and the title for the lecture was "Good Muslim is a Bad Muslim."
That's
and
right.
He explained it. He said, "Good Muslim, good Muslim, like the Muslim that knows his book exactly, like they know it as it is the bad one, because he's good to Islam. He knows Islam very well. That's why he is a bad Muslim."
My book quite often talks about what you would call forensic linguistics. People hear what they expect to hear. So when they say that this, for example, I have a slide, and it's an imam, and he's in Austria, and he is saying that we speak about the peace of Islam and follow the example of our prophet. And all of the people stand there and smile, and they think, isn't that lovely? And they don't understand that what peace in Islam means is a Dar al-Islam, that the word is actually the root of Islam. So that when they say Islam is peace, no, Islam is a separate word. It has the same root, and the word peace comes only with subjugation to Islam. So when they say that peace and that we follow the example of our prophet, people have no idea what that really means. And they all stand and smile because it is so easy to deceive them. Just a few days ago, I saw a headline from Florida newspaper. They are so brazen in their ignorance. They make a headline that says there is no Sharia law in Florida, but we have a congressman who thinks we need a bill to forbid it. Now, anywhere you have Islam, you have Sharia in some degree. They're inseparable. It is the way of Islam. But they are so ignorant. They make a headline and people read the headline, they believe it. So it's like taking candy from a baby. They are so ignorant about the subject.
Brother, yes,
It's
absolutely.
like allowing your
Brother
enemy to
Gabriel, he was
control
gonna
you.
say something. You were gonna say something?
Yes, I was trying to, narrate how the event is happening and then who are to be, taken, where to focus on when it comes to this issue of Islamizations of this country. Yes, I was saying something the other time about the Sultan of Sokoto and one of the most powerful king in Nigeria happened to be a Muslim and, advocating for the Boko Haram of a team. We also have one that is called Gumi of a team. And we also have former ministers of Nigeria, which is Pantami. Pantami says that Boko Haram is their brother and nobody should kill them because they don't need to die like a pig. Imagine from a former minister. Then he's a former minister right now, but before he was a minister under the Buhari government, saying that nobody should kill the Boko Haram and that Boko Haram is their brother. Now that is where the problem now lies here in Nigeria. Now we have it's not that the Nigerian army is not capable of defeating these Boko Haram, ISWAPs, all these bandits. But the problem here is that among the Nigerian army, they have Boko Haram as a soldiers, as an officer. Now, under the Buhari government, the Boko Haram that was captured, that they ought to have prosecuted, but in the name of they have repent, you rehabilitated them and then you integrated them into the Nigerian army. A terrorist who does that? Who does that? Imagine the United States of America now bringing in Afghanistan, all these Taliban, the ISIS into their army. So that is where the problem lies now. And the current situations about the general that was unalive, Brigadier General Umba, that was unalive just recently, he shared his coordinate, his location to the base. And the funniest part is that the aircraft that ought to rescue him is already nearby. But unfortunately, he couldn't get there. The ISIS, the ISWAP was able to get there before the aircraft. But the question here is, who exposed the location of the Brigadier General to the ISWAP? So right now in the Nigerian army, we have the terrorists that are among the officers and soldiers in the Nigerian army. Not only the Nigerian army, the Nigerian police too. So right now, there is no hope for the Christians in Nigeria. The only hope for Christians in Nigeria is when the external force comes in, maybe like the Trump that wanted and wish to comes in and eliminate the terrorists. That is the only hope. And if you are a soldier, another thing to add to it, any soldier or any officers that is trying his best to eliminate these terrorists will be forced to retire.
Yes.
Now, let me give you an example of this private soldier, Private Emmanuel Issa, just of recent. Is it not 2 days ago? He was forced to retire. He wasn't forced to retire. He was dismissed because of disobedient to lawful orders. Disobedient to lawful orders. He was on the battlefield, and their commander gave them order to stop, to cease fire. They were being attacked by this Boko Haram of a team, and their commander asked them cease fire, but he refused, and because of that, he was court-martialed and dismissed for firing his gun against the Boko Haram.
Yes.
So right now, there is no hope for the
In
Christian in the Nigerian
Are you
army.
trying to say that the government involved with the terrorists? They help them and they want them to be there. That's why they fight whoever fight them.
Yeah.
It's exactly like
By
what I
the
see in Egypt now.
In Egypt, yeah, I was gonna say that.
In Egypt, they do the same to the Christian.
Yeah.
The same thing. Like
by,
you feel like the government is protecting terrorists. They give them like before they do the order, before they arrest someone, they tell the terrorists. So the terrorists like they say it in their like lives, if they have like a TikTok or some like digital media platform, they say it. They say that this person is gonna be arrested if like a Christian person, and then this person, for fact, they get arrested. The person get arrested after the terrorists like say to everybody. So I think it's like the same agenda they're like working on in the Middle East and like in Muslim countries towards Christian.
Exactly. Go ahead,
Sister Adfan said a little while ago that in New York, what they're doing is modeling themselves on London, and they are modeling themselves on Muhammad. This is exactly the same pattern that has been repeated for 1400 years. You go in and pretend you are a victim, you are an innocent, you just want to be friends and help. And then as you gain strength, eventually you take over and then you eliminate everyone else that is in your way. And that is where Nigeria is right now. And I am so ashamed to tell you that in British Columbia, where I live in Canada, that the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church together had a refugee program. And they were sometimes bringing in Muslim families, and they were also sometimes bringing in what they thought were Christian families, but I know were not. A friend who is involved in this, she told me about how nice the Muslim family had been and how terrible the Christian family, because the Christian family had lied to them and got one of the people in the committee to help them. And they drove to the airport at 11 o'clock at night, and they caught a plane and went to, which place in Sweden? Göteborg, a place that is 100% Muslim now. And they did this because, I believe they did this because Sweden was not allowing any more Muslims into the country at that time. So they got into Canada, and then through Canada, they went to Sweden. And they thought this was a Christian family. I don't believe for 1 second that was a Christian family. So then I started looking around at what was going on with that church. And I discovered that they had put their head administrator in charge of the refugee applications was a Muslim. And I got hold of that organization. They had a joint organization. And I said, why have you done this? You have people fleeing Nigeria for their lives. Can you imagine what it feels like to go to your sanctuary, your church, and ask for help? And they have a Muslim there adjudicating your application. Can you imagine what this must feel like? And you know what he said to me? He said, we are an equal opportunity employer, as if it was a bank, not a church. That is how corrupt the church has become. I am sorry to say that, but I am very ashamed, particularly of the churches in the West who turn a blind eye to this. I've tried to talk to them. There was one minister who wanted me to put together a program, kind of like a Bible study, only teaching about Islam. And he met with me. He was all excited. He asked me to put together a program, recommend books, which I did. And then I phoned and he wouldn't speak to me, completely stopped speaking to me. Why? Somebody higher in the church would have told him to.
So he thought you're talking about Islam. You're going to talk about Islam in a nice way. That's what he thought, to make Islam.
No, not at all. He understood. He was so excited. He was looking at this. He understood, but he was silenced.
Gotcha.
He got intimidated by Muslim people. I think maybe he got straight.
No, by the
scared.
The church.
It's not everybody is good at church, and we know that from the Bible. The Bible told us, like,
is Gabriel
like the end days. I'm sorry.
I had
heard the other people.
Yeah.
What about the other brother?
Where's Noah?
Yeah.
Noah is
Where's
gone.
Noah? He left?
Yeah, we don't know if
I
Yvonne,
had
if you
some
want Noah,
questions for them actually, but I didn't give them all the questions yet.
but yeah, I know, but we have the video first, and then we have question to Elaine, and then next for Gabriel or Noah when he come.
Noah,
So
he's not here now. Yeah.
if he came, so Yvonne, if you can play the video, please.
Today, we have 43 state delegates in the United States who are Muslim. If they want to run for Congress, we may end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling the system of injustice, is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
The UN Security Council has adopted the resolution to authorize the Board of Peace. Shame! Shame!
Exactly, like as you saw, Elaine, how they recruit people here, how they try to take control like stay in very focusing in one area. They all come, their all population go in one area just
Yes.
to be strong in politics and take over our country. And they recruit young people even after the peace council in the UN, the peace resolution in the UN, the Security Council, I mean, after they did the peace resolution, those pro-Palestinian people in the street screaming, and they saying, "Shame on you! What is that? What is that? Like, why? Uh, um, like you didn't see enough? Do you want to see more dead Palestinians? Do you want to see more what do you want?" All they care, they are recruited, they're being paid by Qatar, by other countries, by Iran, and they don't want to they don't want to just stay home and nobody to pay them. They want to get the paying going. And
Yeah.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
Yes, and actually, when she was talking and what they are doing, how they are playing like we're peaceful people. I met many American Christians also here. They are so deceived by those people, and they have no idea what they have in their books and in their like inside their hearts. They're using tuqiyya. That's what we call tuqiyya, and that's the same way that Islam existed. Without tuqiyya, Islam will never exist. When Muhammad he ran from Quraysh to Abyssinia and Yathrib, he got protection from the Jewish and the Christians by what? By pretending he is peaceful. You are people of the book. You have your reward. Like Allah will give you your reward. And when he became strong enough, he started to attacking them and calling them infidels and killing them and doing all these things. So that's the same strategy they are using. That's how Muhammad he started.
You know what? Did I
That's
mention
Aileen. Aileen has like a book about this, I think, like the 3 phases for
Yes.
invading
Yes,
the West.
that's
It's
chapter.
exactly what Muhammad did. They do it now.
I forget what I was going to say.
We want to know how do Islamist movement like recruit inside the US or in Canada? How they like what's actually their plan? Like what's the plan they
Like how they
take?
started, they're coming, running from their destroyed countries, like coming for the West to just like find shelter, find like a good place to live, and they give them everything they can live on, like they live like free even, and they give them like the peace, like the shelter, the education free, like medication free and everything. And once they are stronger, they try to control the country and take it back. And they try even to kick people because they cannot live with infidel, they cannot live with the non-believer. They have even hadith saying, whoever dies but neither invade nor sincerely considered invading will die a death of jahiliyyah. وده في صحيح مسلم. or it means like if you don't invade, you're not a true, or you think about invading, you're not a true true believer. So
Yeah.
this is like, it's like mandating them to do it. You have to do it to be a good Muslim. To be a good Muslim, you have to invade, you have to kill, and you have to rape your enemy. Like my God say, love your enemy. Muslim guy, God, or like Allah says, rape your enemy, according
Ah,
to An-Nisa, yeah, chapter 4, verse 24. He is asking them to rape the enemy. It's okay for Muslim, even if she's married, and this happened with already the captains of
Mhm.
Autas in their book.
Brother, mhm. I think our brother Gabriel, he has comment about that.
Elaine wanted to say something first because she
I did, and I lost it, and I was sitting here
lost
going, "What was it? What was it?" It was so important. All right,
remember it, I bet.
this whole business about the three Abrahamic faiths drives me absolutely crazy, because through this, all right, which has been pushed in the last decades, especially, they claim rights to Israel. This is all part of the Muslim Brotherhood, the decision to make, and they had something, it was called the Project. This goes back to 1989, and it was to make Palestine the core, okay, the hub of a new Islamic Renaissance. So they have been working on this now for 35 years, all right, to make everyone believe that it's all about some fictitious country called Palestine that somehow belonged to the Arabs. In the 1920s, there were more Jews in Israel than there were Arabs, but they started going there because they didn't want to lose that little chunk of land so that they could dispute it. But nevertheless, what I wanted to mention was this whole business about Muhammad is supposed to be descended from Abraham. I don't believe it. All they have, if you look at Al-Tabari, he has the genealogy. It's volume 6, page 37, I believe. And he says that it's oral and that the scholars do not argue back as far as Adnan. So Adnan is an ancestor of Muhammad, presumably. Adnan is back 21 generations. If you generously allow 30 years per generation, that's 630 years. That takes you to 30 BC. There's another 1800 years that is missing between Muhammad and Abraham. 1800 years that they can't account for. And yet they say that Muhammad is descended from Abraham. And because of that, and because Abraham was Tawhid and a good Muslim, that actually the land of Israel was given to Muslims. This is how they justify it. And so this whole story about his genealogy, there is absolutely no historical evidence whatsoever to support that.
Exactly. And I wanted to clarify something too, that when they're talking about Palestine and the land of Palestine, the country of Palestine, guess what? The first one actually give them a land and give them a government and to be able to govern themselves was Israel. But the Arab didn't let Palestinians to rule themselves. When Great Britain left the land, actually Jordan was in charge of the West Bank, and Egypt was in charge of Gaza. And they didn't give power to the Palestinian people to rule the land, to rule themselves at all. They were under the invasion of Egypt and Jordan and Syria, and it was okay with the Muslims. Nobody opened their mouths. Nobody said, "Hey, why don't you let the Palestinian rule?" No, but the first one actually, like, they began to rule after Israel actually took over in 67, and then give the power to the Palestinian themselves for the first time. And actually, the first flag actually to Palestine that everyone carry now, it started in 1965. So uh, it's okay if the Muslim is the invader, but if anyone else let it take back their land, actually, which actually Quran itself says that this the land of the Jewish people, then you are criminal, and you are invader. They call you all the name of the book. Now
Brother
here in the
Gabriel.
US, just a second. Now here in the US, they trying to recruit people, throwing your moral values. This is Palestinian suffering now. It's where is your morals? Where is the good in you? And trying to and don't want to point the true finger to the finger to the true criminal, which is Hamas themselves, who actually torturing their people. They led their people into war. They brought this disaster to their people. They don't want to point it out. They pointed at Israel, and Israel is the only criminal. Because go ahead.
Could I change the discussion slightly just for a little while, just to
Go
make
ahead.
sure we get to it? Because my focus is always on the solution. We talk about the problem and it goes on year after year, and the situation just gets worse and worse, and it gets worse and worse because of ignorance and because people, the general public doesn't hear people like you speaking, and they are totally misled. I'll tell you a little story that gives an example. When I wrote my first book, which is a primer, it's a very easy introduction. I published that last year. And when I wrote it, a friend of mine in the United States, who is actually a disaster expert, he was called to 911 when it happened. And he recommended to me two publishers. I won't name them, but I did what authors usually do. You know, I went along with what they wanted. They wanted a couple of chapters. I had to fill out a bunch of forms. I send it all off. And these two publishers were big publishers, and so they had departments. And I thought my book would be most appropriate in geopolitical section. Both of those major publishers had Muslim head of geopolitical section, and that decides what get published, what doesn't. And one of them had an overall Muslim head of editorial. Now, this happens with the platforms as well, the social media. And why does it happen? It's because they are intimidated. They don't want Charlie Hebdo. They are afraid of risks. And so they don't want to publish anything. So when you go to Amazon to buy a book, anything about Islam that is favorable is not checked at all. If you look, you'll see 50 books about Islam that are all, isn't Islam wonderful? And there'll be one or two that are critical of it. And they end up being self-published, which I must say is nothing, it doesn't get anywhere near the reach that a book from a publisher does, because I can't distribute to bookshops. The printer will take 50%, and then the bookshop wants 55%, and there isn't that much money. So if you are self-publishing, they won't carry your book at all. So the only distribution my book will get is what I am able to share with people myself. That's how bad it is. I market it myself so that they will look on Amazon. But this book is about the solution. And if you can just focus on it, because it's so important. There's a section here. It's called Protecting Rights by defining them, a legal path forward. All right, a legal path forward. This is the last section of the book. The next section are the appendices. And this one here is for the UK because it is in the worst shape. And what it says, Appendix A, England, Freedom of Religion Integrity Act. And then the next, which all of them have, there's legislation for the UK, for the US, for Canada, for France. Then the last appendix, E here, okay, is called Doctrinal Clarification for Use in Assessing Eligibility, because this is the only solution I see. They are bringing in a No Sharia Act, a bill. There have been over 200 bills regarding Sharia in the United States in the last 15 years. They have all failed. And this bill, which 21 congressmen have signed on to, does not even include a definition of Sharia. Of course, they don't know how to define Sharia. So if it goes to court or it goes to a tribunal, then someone who knows absolutely nothing about Islam is supposed to decide whether this is Sharia interfering with the US Constitution. It is absolutely unworkable. I have written to them. They have received information from me and copies of this legislation, because the only thing that makes sense for a country is that it establish a legal threshold for what is recognized as a religion that in no way interferes with what people believe and what they practice in their heads privately, okay? But the state gives charitable status. It allows Islamic finance. All of the ways that Islam gets in is like the workplace, demanding we have prayer time, demanding we have halal food. And every little bit that is given to them is more Sharia creeping in. And it does that because they don't know what is Sharia and what isn't. So when a woman demands to wear a hijab, they say, oh, that's my religion. She doesn't say, oh, I demand that you stone me, because she doesn't know that much. So the whole country is slowly but surely becoming Islamized through the market, through the money that is collected through zakat from every Muslim. And the only way to stop it. Now, the reason I know this is because I used to work in government and I administered acts. And one of them was the Child Paternity and Support Act. And a legal father has privileges that a biological father does not. So if he married the woman, then he has legal privilege because it benefits the state. Well, having this legal status as a religion is not a divine right. It is granted by the state. So if the state establishes a threshold that all religions must be consistent with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights or their own constitution, the only religion that will fail that threshold is Islam, because Islam is the only one that says one person has this right, like women only 50%. Islam is the only one that demands money for jihad. Islam is the only one that kills apostates. Islam is the only one that does all of those things. And that is why in 1948, when the United Nations was formed, the Islamic countries refused to sign on to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So what we have now is a United Nations that for 75 years has had no moral compass. They tell everyone that they follow the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and they know full well that the 56 Islamic countries that form a solid, wealthy voting bloc that is extremely powerful because of the effect it has on the Ummah, and the UN knows that, they get whatever they want. And they do not subscribe to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They subscribe to the Cairo Declaration, which follows Sharia. And the only way to stop this is legally, to say we have a threshold for religion, what will be legally recognized and supported, okay, will be, they have to pass a threshold. Only Islam will fail. This, at the same time, will now educate people in a way that we cannot, because when there is pushback, only Islam will have this problem that it doesn't have equal rights before the law, that it kills apostates. Then it will be exposed because it goes before the government. That's the only way I see to do it. Honestly, I've looked many times trying to figure out, this makes sense. This follows law. The same problem that they have with this bill now, that it doesn't define Sharia, is what the founding fathers did when they formed the Constitution. They did not define religion. They did not put any limit. And consequently, a belief system that is being facilitated that denies the very freedom that the Constitution guarantees. That cannot be allowed.
Exactly. The British government actually surprised me. Like lately, I read in the in the government, they said, if you try to say Western values or anything like that, you consider extremist. What is that supposed to mean? As Egyptian immigrant, I know when I came here to the U.S., under the Western values, and I should embrace it because I came here as an immigrant, and I leave all my values, all my culture there. I don't bring my culture with me. I can provide food, the way of dressing, okay, the way I dress or food, but not my culture. I don't want my culture here.
Yeah,
I don't
Dadia,
want to be fair here. I just want the Western culture. I don't want to, as an immigrant, I want to be under the Western culture. Or why did I come here in the first place?
we can see also in the Britain, we can see even the police. They are standing with Muslims instead Christians, and we see them always like arresting people who are preaching or something. While Muslims, it's okay; they can do whatever they want. And why Islamophobic? What? You can call it Islamophobic when something like that doesn't exist. But all what we're talking about, and all those people who are scared of Islam because there is horrible things existing in this religion. So
Exactly.
yeah, actually, I had a question to brother
We
Gabriel
have
and
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. Yeah, and
Ezekiel came back,
Ezekiel.
by the way.
Yeah.
Ezekiel came back. Okay.
So I had a question for them. What do Christians in Nigeria wish the world understand from this crisis? Mhm.
Oh, God bless you. I have two things to say. The number one is that I want the world, the international community, to please register this at the back of their mind, that no matter who that person is, whether you are a bishop, you're a government agency, you are an apostle or a representative of Christians actually in Nigeria, that deny Christian genocide, such a report, they should not take it, they should not accept it. Any group, any individual, even any Christians that said that deny the Christian genocide, the international community should not accept that, because that is what they are planning now. The government are trying to use some Christians, some ignorant Christians, trying to buy their feet to deny the genocide, the Christian genocide of 18. The international community should please kindly note that. Now, the second thing that we want from the Christians all over the world is that we have those that are in distress, that they need help. They need help. Well, we have some Christians, or we have Christians, the converted Christians, that they want to leave this northern part of Nigeria of 18, but because of the cost of migrating from one region to another, and establishing themselves in a new area, some decided to stay. And if we could see anyone that want to render help to these such Christians, you can please, we have a missionary agency that are in for that. Please kindly reach out to them. And another thing to add to it is that we want external help, external, military help. Nigeria army is compromised.
Yeah.
Nigeria army is compromised. We want external help, and we appreciate the president of America, Donald Trump, that want to render help to us. And my advice is, if he's going to do that, it should be now, not tomorrow. And if you are going to do that, please and please, Donald Trump. I don't know whether I'm going to be charged for it, but that is the bitter truth. If you are going to do that, Donald Trump, do not have any coalition plan with the Nigerian army. If you have any coalition plan with the Nigerian army, your effort will be fruitless. That's my take. God bless you all.
Amen. Amen. That's true. You want to help the Christian, you don't go in coalition with the army at all, because they are traitors to their people. That's the same thing happened in Egypt. Our government traitors.
Yes.
They just like
They're taking the side of the terrorists.
Exactly, like our girls being
the aggressor.
Yes.
raped,
Yes.
and kidnapped and forced to be Muslim, and the government hide the girl and make the family right restraining order on them to not get near to the girl or even talk to her. That's not fair.
You know, I want to say a word here also
So they
about,
share in deceiving the family.
Yeah. Go ahead, Elaine.
oh, just about, you know, a couple of other countries, because this is happening everywhere. I don't know if you've heard of the Religion of Peace, but they've always kept a record. And there are thousands and thousands of jihadi attacks every single year. Now, when Pakistan was formed back around 1948 as well, I believe originally 25% of the population were not Muslim. Now it's 4%. And the same thing in Bangladesh. Now, I spent 3 hours talking to a Hindu man whose family was from Bangladesh originally. They ended up, because of the violence in the city, moving up to the mountains. And his grandfather and his father's father, and, you know, forever had lived in that area, and they were a highly respected family. But it became so dangerous. He said that neighbors that they had at this time, he was only 5 years old, the neighbors that they had that one time had been good had now started going, oh, they're not Muslim, and turning on them. Okay. And then the night that he was left there, his grandfather started trying to get them out a few at a time, because if they all went at once, they would be stopped and punished, or, you know, they would be harmed. So he was trying to get them out a couple at a time, taking them down to India. And the last two left were this man I was speaking with. He was 5 then, and his sister, who was 16. And they came in the night, a whole group of Muslims. They tore his sister out of there. His grandfather found him in the closet in the morning, 5 years old, still alive, thank goodness. And his sister has never been seen again. So this happens to people like when we began. And you said the first one I met was from Baha'i. And it was Christmas. And it was his first year in Canada. And we decorated a tree together. I don't know what he thought. At the time, I'm only 29. I have no idea. I say, would you like to come with me? We'll go get a Christmas tree. And we had such a beautiful Christmas together. And he told me how his friends had been killed and tortured just because they were Baha'i. And this is still going on every single day. This has been going on 14 centuries. This has to stop.
Exactly. Part of the jihad that the people don't understand is the rape. The rape is the big part, and that's how Muhammad seduce his followers by telling them, "Come with me."
Rape and stealing. Whoever kills someone.
Yeah. But
whoever kills someone, they can steal their stuff too. Like
yes.
الحد عليه سلبه.
Yes, but I mean, the main thing is to tell them, let's go to Tabuk, sorry, and because there is blondies there. So that's how he seduced his followers for blondies and to rape the blonde. So that's the first thing goes.
And so many people don't know that the Ottoman Empire had blonde slaves. They had redheaded slaves. They had millions of European slaves, and people don't even realize that today. It is just, they are so incredibly ignorant.
Exactly. And Saudi Arabia, that's the main thing. Even in Saudi Arabia, pay lots of money.
Oh, yes. It's terrible.
Do you know that they pay more in Egypt if you bring them a girl that is Christian and put the cross on her? So when he rape her, he enjoy it more because she has the cross and she's Christian. They are sick.
Yeah, the whole thing is to take them out of the breeding pool of the Christians and even the Hindus. The Hindu girls are kidnapped as well, to take them out of that breeding pool and put them into the Islamic breeding pool, so that they reduce the numbers of the Christians, the Hindus, everybody else, and increase through their womb the numbers of Muslims, because they take the children. It is so evil.
It's called the Islamization of the womb. That's the thing. And when they take like one of our girls and rape her and stuff, they once she become pregnant and that child become Muslim because he's a follower of his father, this is it. They can throw her in the street after that. They don't care if she left Islam or not, because she will not be married again. What kind of Christian would want to marry the girl who have a Muslim boy? and she
So
will have,
for the government, instead of like arresting the person who did that to her, who raped her,
yeah,
they Islamize her, like they force her into Islam just to protect him, to say, oh, she became a Muslim and he can marry her, and then they protect him from like to be convicted for it. I have something. I have to go back to what Eileen said like a while ago. You said there should be like a threshold for what a religion is and like the principles and stuff, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you, if Hitler came under the word religion, if Hitler came under like the word, he said like this is his religion, is to kill people and like burn others and stuff like who he doesn't like, would that like let us make him do whatever like he wants without like any resistance or criminalizing him? Like I mean,
I'm going to.
if because
I'll
what Muhammad does, or what Muhammad already did to the humanity, like all these years, like 14 years ago, is exactly what Hitler did.
Yes.
But because he's under the word religion, they let him do whatever, and they enforce this on us, and we have to respect this, even it's against humanity. So what's your take on this?
I would say they didn't do what Hitler did. Hitler did what they did. Okay. Because Muhammad started it. I'm going to read you a little paragraph from my book because it's exactly about this subject. So I'll just read it. The example, I'm speaking now about Islamism and how people want to use this word like it's somehow different from Islam, all right? I say, for example, Nazism is classed as an ism because it represents a structured ideology and movement with specific principles, doctrines, and practices. It encompasses political, ethnic, and economic theories that shaped a government system under Hitler. And in 1935, it legally differentiated between identifiable groups, Germans and Jews, through the Nuremberg laws. These are all of which are equally apparent in both normative Islam and Islamism. It's the same thing. And when Nazi Germany, in that regard, of course, they just went after the Jews primarily, whereas Islam goes after all non-Muslims. But when the Nuremberg trials were, the Arabs that were involved in that, Al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, and there was another one, they were famous in the Arab world. They were still heroes. There was no Nuremberg trial for them. They carried on with the Jew hatred unabated. There was no stop for Islam. It kept going.
exactly. Al-Husseini was the one who was behind it. He told them exactly what to do. Exactly what to do, and he followed. Hitler was just a follower to Muslim leader, that's al-Mufti.
And his fatwa was based on the Quran, because Quran is like inciting them against like Christian and Jews to go after them, and unless like they converted to Islam, you have to kill them or pay the jizya. And he always like after the people of the book. You said they're the people of the book, so they were like, it should be protected by your God too, because you came here to us and you claim to be from the same God as ours, and now because they rejected you, everything now is against them. You try to kill them, you try to humiliate them by paying the jizya while like subdued. So this guy, we should like understand that he is lying and he is trying to manipulate things, and always like change his mind whenever like he feeling something, he does something else that contradict with the first thing that he did. Okay, go, Father. I mean,
something to say?
go ahead.
I want to talk about the jizya part of it. Now, do you know the percentage of the jizya that the non-Muslims pay? So, according to the Jami at-Tirmidhi, Hadith 1383, it should be 50% of every incomes of their incomes. If 50%, imagine 50% of your income being paid to these extremists, to these Muslims of it. 50% of your income. Now, if you are now engaging Muslims, they keep saying that, oh, it is just a tax. If you're engaging a normal Muslim, they were like, oh, this is a tax. Okay, it's a tax. Okay, what is the percentage? So most Muslims don't know the percentage. So when we now told them that the percentage of this GCI is 50%, because according to the Hadith, the Prophet made a deal with the people of Kaiba for half of what was produced from it, whether fruit or crops. So 50% should be paid. Now about the one that was showed the other time, the one in Savara State, 60 million were paid by the communities for protection money. 60 million. And in fact, there are still more. Yes, billions.
I just wanted to say that, you know, the belief is that the second, the third generation will convert, but even converting does not mean that their situation will change that much. I was listening to a man from North Africa not too long ago, a few months ago, and they are still referred to as abd, slave, in a derogatory way because of their descendants, okay? And they still have slavery in Mauritania. They have markets in Libya. They have slaves in Nigeria. There's an estimated 130,000. They take slaves from the Yazidis. There were 6,000. They killed the ones they didn't want. What do people not understand about this? It is outrageous that the world turns a blind eye to this. You know, I'm not sure how long the program goes on for, but I hope we end it by talking about the suffering of people in Nigeria right now is just so horrendous.
And you know,
about the report, the recent, I just got the report about the recent event that happened in the Kwara State about the CAC, the video in which that was showed earlier. Yes, those that were captured, the terrorists have now came out. The Muslims terrorists, I used to use the word Muslim terrorists, that they now came out and said that each head will be released at the amount of 100 million naira.
Yeah.
Each head, 100 million naira. And at least those that were captured are more than 30 people were captured. Imagine, that is more than 3 billion naira. 100 million naira each.
Wow. Yeah, they ask for crazy number.
Yes, and I can say
because
that
they're lazy. They don't work.
very
They don't do anything to humanity. They just want to get people's money, exactly like the
Muhammad. Yes.
I just wanted to.
What do you want to say?
Go ahead.
Yes, I am 100% sure of this, that those that were captured, none of them have up to 1 million naira in their account.
Oh wow!
I am 100% sure, because it's a rural area.
When
none of them have.
When you see, the thing is that Islam doesn't have global control now. It doesn't yet. When it does, slavery, all of it will be back in full force. Sharia will be in full force. People are not looking ahead. The jizya was so bad in Egypt that they branded people if they didn't pay. They cut off their arms, their legs. They bled people so badly. I mean, you take 100% of the population, and now there's less than 10% that are Coptic Christians. And how they have managed to keep their strength and last this long, I don't know. But it's just, just people forget that the world isn't entirely Islamic yet. Yeah. And if they don't stop it, it will be. And then all of that horror will be everywhere.
Exactly. The people actually don't understand that there is no peace in the land of Islam. If you think, oh, maybe if I convert to Islam, I will live in peace, they will leave me alone. No, that you won't. Because there is a billion kinds of sects that every time a new one will come and say, you don't follow me, I will kill you. And that's how they end up. That's how they kill each others. Look at Sudan. Muslims killing other Muslims in Sudan who are black like them, and they call him abd while he's killing him.
Yeah.
Like telling him you're a black abd, you're a black slave, and he's a black brother
Well,
like him.
well, that's what happens when you have a belief system that the best deed is jihad, and you will be rewarded with paradise and booty. And if
Exactly.
anyone was to come back ever from paradise, it's so wonderful. It would be
That
to commit jihad over and over. Good grief.
Yeah. Go ahead, Afnan. Okay.
actually, I just want to mention something.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just want to mention something. We have only 10 minutes left. So
Yeah.
if you have any closing message, please share it
Yeah,
with us.
I just
Thank
want
you
to
so
say
much.
one thing that jizya, that people don't understand about jizya and what actually the book said about jizya. The Quran said in Surah 9, verse 29, that when Christian and Jew, when they come to pay the jizya, they have to be belittled.
Yes. Yeah.
That's mean you have to insult them when they pay. So he has to, that Baghawi said, literally slapped on the back of his neck. He put his shoes on his neck when he pays, and pulled from his beard, brought to and hit in his private part. All this stuff, like giving him many ways. Al Baghawi is a scholar of this ayah, of the tafsir of this ayah, or explanation of this ayah, how to make the Christian and Jew pay jizya. And and if you don't have money, like in Morocco and in Egypt, when people run out of money and they don't have money to pay, say, hey, give me your daughter, give me your wife, give me your children. We can sell them as slaves instead of your jizya. So there's like, you will be everything will be taken from you. That's what Islam. That's what the teaching. That's not what we say. That's what the teaching of Islam say. So,
So I have to say something also, because like the time is not like enough. So yeah, for these people who believe like, oh, this is not gonna affect us, and you let them grow and grow, you're gonna be converted by force. You're not gonna have any chance, because their Quran is telling them to kill the non-believer. So if you like it or not, either you're gonna be killed or you're gonna be converted by force. And if they apply the Sharia on you, look at the Surah chapter 5, 38. It says like to cut off the hands of everyone who steals. That's beside like the pedophilia, beside like hitting the wives, like humiliating the women in general, like a lot of other stuff. But look at this, because I want to like compare between them and between the Bible, and I'll leave it for you to decide which one is like fair and like from the real God. It says to cut off the hands of everyone who steals. Look at that. So if you steal, instead of helping you to find a job, they're gonna cut your hands. So imagine a man stole like a bread or like a little piece of candy. They will destroy him for the rest of his life, and he will die. Of course, eventually, no one is like feeding him, and he doesn't is not able to feed himself.
divine
He-
Muslim
Hmm?
lie and say the law is not cutting hands and feet, is not for those who are hungry. That's a lie. The law itself is say even if he stole an egg, he will be his hand will be.
Yeah, one dinar or ربع dinar قالت Aisha said
One
like it's
dinar.
like a quarter of a dinar. It's like $1. Let's say $1 for a
Mhm.
quarter and more. They can cut the hands of someone. Even like they steal, they all steal, but they're not gonna like admit it or like apply it to themselves. Like Muhammad never applied his law on himself. So this is like a kind of wickedness
Do you know,
and
Mohammed?
satanic. In Ephesians 4:28, it shows, let him that stole steal no more, but let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that is in need. like, yeah, let these people work and can help others instead of like making them like disabled forever and not be able to help themselves or help other. You're gonna make a sick community by doing this. You need to provide them with the food and make them, not in these countries. These countries are already poor, very poor. They don't have like enough to feed their people. So eventually they're gonna steal. So if you do this to them, you are evil. So
Uh-huh. Go ahead, Elaine. You want to say something?
Well, I was going to jump in. I'm sorry, Divine.
you
Is
forgot.
is where you were saying that Muhammad never had to do these things himself. He got other people to. I forget what it was exactly. But
Because he steals too. He steals their money.
yeah,
He
he
takes like
didn't have
one
to. He
fifth.
didn't have to work himself. Yes. Do you know he even like he said that he was born circumcised, so that while he told women they had to be circumcised and everyone had to be circumcised, and when they kill people like Hindus, they'll pull down their pants, and if they're not circumcised, they kill them. Well, he apparently, the tradition is that he was born circumcised, so he didn't have to he didn't have to do that for himself either. And I mean, all this story about being such a poor Muslim, I mean, his uncle Abu Talib got him a great job, got him on caravans. His first wife looked after him. She was a rich widow, she had all the money, not him. And so what happens the whole time he's with her? He has one wife. Honestly, to me, it reminds me of a spoiled teenager, someone who has had things given to him, and then suddenly his wife is gone, his uncle is gone. He's like a teenager gets his first apartment. He can do whatever he wants now. He'll have 13 kids and 13 wives, and he'll steal from everybody else. That's what it's like. But the problem is that, Muslims, so many Muslims in the West, and if there are any listening today, I hope you are taking this to heart. I saw a 15-year-old boy in Iraq beheaded because he was listening to Western music. There is nothing beautiful or peaceful about Islam. If it is cruel to one person, it will be cruel to you too. So, please take heart and listen to what the people here, the wonderful people here, have said today. They've shared from their heart.
Amen. Amen. So we came to the end of our show. So
Let's hear Brother Gabriel if he has like a final word.
go ahead, Gabriel.
God bless everyone. My final word is let everybody know that we are in the last days, and everything that has been prophesied is happening before our eyes. But what the word of God said is that we should occupy till it comes. We should keep surviving till it comes, and that is what we are doing. The book of Luke chapter 21 verse 36 said we should be watchful and be prayerful, so that we can escape all those things that are bound to happen, and to be able to stand in the front of the Son of Man, and in which is what we are quite doing right now. So I just pray that the grace, the strength that we need, and then the anointing that to yield the result, Heavenly Father, will grant it unto us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 Finally, I would like to say, as
I want to thank
American,
Elaine.
go ahead. Go ahead. Thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
Elaine.
Elaine, for being with us. We're going to see you
And
again.
amen. And thank you,
I say
Gabriel.
thank
Yeah,
you
when
to
you
all
have
you.
time.
It's such a relief to talk to people who actually understand what they're talking about and they know the doctrine.
Yeah, you have to always
Yeah,
be with
we're
us.
so happy
Your
to
knowledge.
have you with
Yeah.
us too. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. You are very knowledgeable. I know
Yeah.
that for a long time now.
And thank you to Brother Gabriel and Brother Noah. I
Thank you,
wish
Gabriel and
we will do a special
Ezekiel.
show. Yeah, we'll do a special show for Nigeria. I
Yeah.
believe in the next 2 weeks, and we will elaborate more on that further. Like we want to learn more, want to people learn more and understand more about what happening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But uh, it's like finally, I would like you to understand that as Americans, we welcome of all faiths. including peaceful Muslims, like who, as we said, but we cannot ignore an ideology that seeks to spread political extremism, suppress freedom, and justify violence. Our responsibility is to protect our families, our country, and our future. Awareness is the first weapon, truth is the second. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you. I
bless
mean,
you.
like people who come
God
here
bless you.
and assimilate, not the people who want to dominate us, right? That's the people that we
Exactly.
welcome here.
We,
Yep.
yes,
Exactly.
but there's a responsibility
Thank you,
on us to
everybody.
protect. Yeah, I
Yep.
just want to say there's a responsibility
Yes.
on us to protect those freedoms too for everyone who comes. And we can do that legally. People can believe what they want, of course, but we don't need to facilitate a belief system through law that is going to take away those very freedoms that they are exploiting to advance Sharia.
Exactly. Amen. Have a good day, everyone.
All of you. Thank you again.
Thank you, you too. Bye bye. Thank you, everybody.